With Valentine's Day coming around the corner, Cadbury PS would love to help you celebrate love in all of its forms. No matter who you are or whoever you love, whether it's a bae, a bestie, a bro, or even yourself, PS wants to celebrate with you because we love that you love love. Chocolate lovers who love love also stand a chance to win one of 10 local lovecations valued at 50,000 Rand each for themselves and their partner of their choice. Your chance to experience the perfect lovecation is just 3 steps away. Firstly, buy any 2 Cadbury PS bars. Secondly, dial *120 *10112 hash. That's *120 *10112 hash, and then enter the unique codes found inside the wrappers and choose the location of your choice. It's literally that simple.
What it is?
What's up?
We got your nigga in the fucking cut.
It's like 2020 all over again.
I'm so tired. I'm tired, guys. I'm very tired.
I feel like I'm not gonna say I'm tired. I'm gonna say I'm sad.
You know
I'm
what?
vulnerable.
Yeah.
I'm drained.
Yeah.
I am exhausted. Any negative emotion that you can imagine, I embody it.
That's me. That's me at the moment. And it doesn't help that like the past couple of weeks have been so. Yeah, man, guys. Like the beginning of the year has been so. I mean, I was talking about this where I said typically this is not like my season for like newness and whatnot, but. Either way, like the beginning of the year is the beginning of the year. Like, and it comes with newness, and it comes with a new.
Maybe it's because we started the year sober.
Nah.
I think even that, because I think the delusion while you're drunk kind of contributes and adds to.
I've never been drunk on New Year's Eve.
You've never been drunk on New Year's Eve?
No.
Oh, you're always with your family?
I stopped being with my family like a couple of years ago. But even then, I've
always
never drank. Because Afropunk, I never drank.
This was my first sober New Year's Eve, and I actually went to bed early.
Oh, wow. No, like, so how are you guys? Sorry.
I hope you guys are doing better than us.
We went straight into things. So I was reflecting on this and how the year that we had, right? We had the year that we had was a bit hectic, right? And so I thought, you know, when you take leave and you chill at home, you do nothing, you know, those like 2 weeks, it's gonna help. So I took leave and then I had to come back into my new job, and then it was like, it was like nothing happened. It was like I did absolutely nothing, right? And so now I think what hit me was that, more so now than ever. I mean, back then maybe it worked, right? Because we weren't in a freaking panoramic. But more so now than ever, I'm realizing that rest is something that you incorporate daily.
Yes.
It is not taking leave at the end of the year. I'm sorry. If that's what you thought, sorry. I also discovered myself that that's not what it is.
It's a practice, not an event.
Yes, it's a practice and not an event. And so I've had to grapple with that over the past couple of weeks, and it is hard. And this is on top of just like how vulnerable I'm feeling at the moment with. So I started a new job, like I said, and I'm doing this all online.
That you've been there.
Virtual. And I know nothing, right?
Yep.
This is a new position. This is a new
new
company,
systems, new everything,
systems,
new people.
Everything is new, and I haven't had to deal with that. I mean, I've moved from departments within one company, and that was like chilled. You know what I mean? It's whatever. But when you're moving complete different companies, buildings, everything all together, it's
online.
a lot. Online. And as much as my colleagues are very much like helpful, shame, you know, they really are. They're trying their best. I am feeling so vulnerable right now. Like I am just like
The vulnerability. I'm vulnerable. Like I'm not coping.
Me.
I'm actually not coping. I think I am at the same bottom I was at in the middle of lockdown.
Yeah.
But you sort of try to convince yourself that just because you're functioning, it means that you're coping, but I'm actually not coping. Like I'm getting things done, but I'm really, really struggling.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like the beginning of the new year. It just feels like
we continue.
a continuation. It now more than ever, I fully understand how time is a social construct because it does not feel like we've been phased into something new. I am not hopeful. I I'm just trying to take it day by day. But when you look back at it, you almost like, oh, how did I get through this week? Like,
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember my weeks anymore. You can't tell me.
And-
you can't ask me what did you do, and I'll give you a blow by blow of everything. No, I don't remember.
What did you wear? I don't know. The weekend feels like 2 hours. You literally fall asleep on Friday nights, and then next thing it's Sunday nights. That is all. So
Listen.
I feel this year has actually been even a bit more eventful than last year.
Yeah.
From the levels of grief that we're experiencing to the levels of what the fuck is going on. Like the happenings of
What's been happening
we are
over the
still
past
in
couple of
January.
on social media
alone. We're filming in
Yeah.
January.
Yeah.
And I'm already like, oh, that happened this year?
That's the 31st
Oh, that happened this year?
31st of January, and I'm like, wow. First of all, just the happenings of social media. I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've been off for a bit, but I've been away.
Lurking.
I've been lurking, in the bushes, in the background. And the things that have been happening are so like, what? What are y'all doing, guys? Like, what's going on? Hey, like, I know we're unraveling. We're all together in this. But
I feel like we're gonna see worse.
yeah,
Because
definitely.
we're dealing with an unnatural, unimaginative, inconceivable amount of grief. We don't have enough time to process before something else that is worse than anything we could have ever imagined happens.
Yeah.
We have very limited physical interactions with others.
Yeah.
We have very limited spaces of validation and affirmations. Therefore, the human thing to do, and human isn't necessarily always healthy,
Yeah.
is that we are going to lash out and look for all of those things that we are lacking from very negative sources, because online it's very easy to receive
Yeah.
backlash when you are whiling, and it makes you feel good because you know that you have affected X amount of people in some way, whereas you're not getting that currently. Because I think what we forget is a lot of the people that are lashing out online, it's the bullies from the workplace, it's people who are used to treating, let's say, waiters like shit, or
It's people
what's
who-
bouncers like shit. So now they literally have so many limited spaces to let go, to let out that negative
That is
energy
now all
within
on
them
social
that they
media.
struggle to control, that it's all on social media. And that's why it's so important that, like, we have the honest conversation with ourselves. And I think we've said it so many times,
Sometimes be a bitch in your heart and
that
be okay with it.
we all have negativity within us. There is a function that it serves.
Yeah.
When you realize that something is wrong, you don't stop craving what it used to fulfill.
Yeah.
So it's very important to
Reminds me
be
of that
aware.
podcast, that podcast you're listening to.
Which one? The one about judgment, expressing your feelings without
Yes.
judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough one for me, because I feel like I come across as judgmental when I'm expressing how I feel.
Yeah.
And it's something that I have to work on so much, because it causes many rifts in my life. But going back to the negative emotions, like, we need to own them, and we need to find healthier ways to express it, because they will come out.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how much you try to suppress it, it will come out and you won't realize what you're doing. So I think we can go into our theme for today, actually, or based on that intro.
Our theme for today, well, for the month of February, actually, we're going to be talking about, it's a month of love, as we all know. Rolling my eyes.
Why are you rolling your eyes?
Because the shenanigans. My God, guys. Look, I love Valentine's Day. I'm very excited for Valentine's Day this month or this year. But I think just the shenanigans are they're hectic. One. Second of all, just like the antagonistic things that are said to people who aren't in relationships, like, I think that really sucks, guys. Maybe we need to
I
stop.
think people
don't
are
like
so
it.
unhappy in the relationships that they are in,
Yeah.
that to convince themselves that they are doing better than those who are not in relationships, instead of stepping away from whatever situation is not making them happy, they would rather punch down so that they maintain the idea that being in a relationship is better than being single.
Because guys, when you are in a great relationship and you're enjoying yourself,
You're not
what you're
gonna-
gonna do is you're gonna come on stream and say,
I
"Yo,
love my
it's
person.
delicious here." You're gonna say, "It's so nice here." You're not gonna go and say, "You bitches." I say,
Oh,
"No."
you guys woke up. You guys woke up on your own again. What the hell is there? First of all, you've never slept on your own, or I never slept on my own when I lived at home. I used to sleep with my granny. But it's also a very weird thing to be so focused on single people. But
to wanna have a higher up,
it's
like a one up over.
South Africans love to punch down.
Yeah.
It is deeply ingrained in our nature, and I think it is symptomatic of how damaged and traumatized we are as a society, that within every single thing that we experience and enjoy, we are constantly thinking about how we are so much better than another.
It's so wild how we're so moralistic at the same time. Like, the two don't connect.
Thank you. And that brings me to our first topic for the day, right? Our moralistic projections versus our immoral actions, right? So this is wild because at my previous job, we were working on a project trying to get men living with HIV to take their medicine, right, in South Africa. And while we were doing research, we found that South Africans are actually very conservative about sex.
Yeah.
Many people don't actually use the word sex in their language. They'll use euphemisms to describe sex itself. They use euphemisms to ask for sex. They'll use euphemisms to speak about how they perform sex. But at the same time, even within these euphemisms and this conservativeness, they are so violent in their expressions of speaking about sex.
Yeah.
And this violence itself somehow manages to seep into and be a big part of this conservative society, whereas violence is extremely immoral.
Yeah.
So this week, like my last week, I think I don't know how to tell time.
It's a construct.
I don't know how to tell time. Like our minds are messed up, but we then witness that again, right?
Yeah.
On social media, where a man who has been profiting off of bigotry for years, right, was called out for his bigotry.
Yeah.
And those who are not brave enough to be bigots themselves on their own with their chests, right, felt extremely represented by this man, because he punched down on a group of people that punching down on them makes these people feel good as well.
Yeah.
Which is, I believe, is something that many of us have been in. I know personally, I've been there.
Definitely.
It feels good to speak badly about others.
a group of
It
people,
feels good to, especially when you feel so low about yourself, when you lack confidence, when your self-esteem is at the bottom, and you just don't see a way out of what you are feeling and what you know your life to be within those moments. You literally get relief from being a shitty person towards others. And I think that is such a messed up thing, that we have been conditioned to actually like get relief in that way. But we saw on social media, and I think it's something that we see daily.
Yeah.
And it's something that we also do, not necessarily on that scale, but we saw how like people were defending Mac G's podcast and the episode that he posted, and even people who would claim to be allies were doing so as well, under the guise
like,
of,
"Oh, no, guys,
oh,
you're being
free
a bit
speech,
excessive."
oh, you got, and then as soon as they saw a gay person having said something that they believe is morally incorrect, they all of a sudden remember that people who say or do something wrong should face consequences.
Yeah.
And that to me was just like, what
That was
the
jarring.
hell?
That was incredibly jarring.
Because it made me see that the systems of justice that we believe we have set up are actually not principles that are as widely like acceptable or the general rules of behavior as we have fooled ourselves into thinking, right?
Yeah.
Because we tend to forget that our lives don't mean as much as straight men's lives, like in the world. And we tend to forget that what they get away with, we could never get away with. Even if it's not wrong. For me, it was a scary moment because I
That was
realized,
very scary. I won't lie to you. As I was looking in the background, that whole day was so scary, man.
and it was very dark.
It was incredibly dark. And I'm not talking about what Mel said. I don't think what he said.
No,
was
I
dark.
don't think what he said was dark because God will
knows my heart.
God will speak for you. God will fight for you. And if a repentant homophobe who was threatening violence,
on campus.
and you know what, guys? I'll tell you now. When you are being bigoted, you are at such a low place in your life already that it's not anything that Melusi did that made that person.
No.
And I don't even want to say that. I don't even want to associate suicide with how low this person was, because I think that we don't want to demonize. We don't want to demonize suicide.
Exactly.
And I feel so many people were doing that, where now suicide was being tied with whatever. Like I just feel like we haven't progressed enough to a point of being able to speak about suicide
in a way that doesn't
in a
center our
way
feelings.
that, yes, one, doesn't center our feelings, two, doesn't demonize those who take that decision, and actually in a way that doesn't view it as a decision. And I saw with the way that people reacted this week that we're so far from seeing it as
Which
that.
is what exacerbated the reaction to what Mel had said. And it was just a very dark thing to witness, man. Just that whole day, one.
And people who had been silent.
People being silent, one. Two, what I hated was, because having experienced it and seen it myself, but seeing marginalized people explain their pain over again for people who couldn't care less, right? I hate it when we do it in general as women or whoever. I don't like it.
I feel like it is very scary when you must watch people fight to explain why something is wrong,
right,
to the people who are doing the wrong, who know
They're
very
being
well
wrong.
that is wrong.
They know.
Because they get a certain level of satisfaction from doing that wrong.
Yeah.
And
that man said, this is wrong. This is not right. Like, he's like, okay, maybe this is incorrect. I don't watch the full thing, but he literally said like, oh no, this is not the right.
He tested first.
Yeah.
He tested. I think it's Saul Penduka.
Yeah.
He tested if it was going to be acceptable on that platform.
Yeah.
Then he saw that, I can actually go this far.
And this is on top of Mac G having had a record himself, being fired off of these places.
And
it's the fact that he still got that platform. I mean, I guess you can start your own platform on your own, no matter how much you've been excommunicated, right? That's just the freedom of.
But the fact that you can be funded.
It's the fact that he can be funded, for me. Like, that was what was so wild to me. Like,
that opens an interesting conversation, because then it's like, we often talk about what does rehabilitation look like, and what does accountability look like, and what does, like, how can you look at me now for, say, let's say like in 2010, I had homophobic posts, I had sexist posts, I had xenophobic posts, any bigotry you can imagine, I embodied it. How can I now say I am not that person, or I don't have any of those beliefs? Like, it's
what's the measure?
What's the measure? But I'm not saying this in defense of anything. I'm saying this in saying that, like, society is so messed up that being a bigot and being expressive of it is the default.
Yeah.
And that's something that we often forget. And even in how we treat bigotry, we move as if it is something that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've seen, oh my God, what is it called now?
Is it a show?
Yes, it's on Netflix. It's the trans people speaking
yes,
about
yes, yes.
their representation in the
my
media and
word.
how that's had effects on themselves and their lives.
Forgot the name.
And when you think about it, our introduction to most things comes from the media.
Yeah.
My bigotry was learned from the media. My bigotry was learned from the adults around me. And it made sense to be that person because the happiest people, the life of the party, it was all those people who... That's
Who held those
why
views.
Dave Chappelle is the biggot's Jesus.
Yeah.
Right? Because people think, oh, he's so smart. He's just... Like, you could tell with Sol Penduka, those things that he was saying, you could literally tell that these jokes are from somewhere else. Like, it's not even his own jokes. Like, you'll even see people, when they dig up people's old tweets,
Yeah.
you'll find the same joke. Like, you'll find the same
Multiple
rape
times,
joke.
yeah.
Because you would think that this is so funny that you even go to the point of stealing it and replicating it.
Yeah.
And it's not even your words. It's not even you. And even... Like, when I was watching that thing, I was like, this sounds like something from some American, like, stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
And it just made me think that, like, it's not even something that you're creating fresh.
In your head,
Like,
yeah.
it's not something that, it's not even individualistic.
thought, yeah.
You are following existing thoughts. And then I just hate that we approach it as if this one person is making a mistake instead of it being a societal...
deliberate.
Yes. And it's
Yeah.
a societal norm. Like it's a norm that needs to actually be like shown to be as faulty as it is.
Yeah.
And I really hope that wherever he is, Malusi is okay because the PR machine behind everyone who was against him was wild. There were newspaper articles, but there were no articles about what was happening on that
Mac G and
podcast.
whatnot, yeah. Zero.
So it's always a sad day when we remember
Yeah.
that there's a societal hierarchy for who is valued and who can get away
Who
with
can
what.
get away with certain things, exactly. So, I mean, we went off on a bit of a tangent, but we just had to recap on that. I think, yeah, man, I think that was just a very strange day, very violent day as well. Just seeing the people who were in defense was just, and even in the silent ways or in the sort of ways that aren't.
Dude, people were being so snide. Like, I won't say her name, but I feel like everybody knows who the weirdest South African celebrity is. Acts like they are an ally, but they were literally favoriting tweets,
All those tweets.
that were speaking up for Mac G.
Man, that was just.
I was like, what? And you know what's weird?
That's just another person.
This is another thing. So we're talking about love, but today it's like
Yo,
the messed up things South
Yo.
African love. South Africans really love to, and maybe it's not just a South African thing, maybe it's
Yeah.
like an internet thing, but over the last few years, I've noticed that, and just people in general, actually,
Yeah.
we don't have backbones. Like, you will literally side with anyone as long as they're speaking out against that one thing that once was said about you.
About you, exactly.
Literally. And like South African celebrities have
And we
this
see
thing.
it with men on Twitter, you bitch ass niggas.
Yes. So South African celebrities and men, like, they have this thing of, oh, if so-and-so called me out about X, like, 3 years ago, the day they speak out about so-and-so, and they're wrong, I'm going to add on. So I think even the South African celebrities were supporting Mac G because they felt like cancel culture is a problem. And it's like,
That's also another thing. When I tell you I'm tired and I haven't even
Consequences.
been on my account since I don't know when, right?
I think it's been a while.
I'm tired, man. Like, I'm tired of just how much is being revealed in such a short space of time. Just in the month of January alone, like, what we are coming to realize, what is being illuminated, not even realize, it's always been there, but it's being illuminated. But you're talking about who is valued, who gets to get away with certain things. Why were you writing articles about what Malusi said versus his response, what he
was responding to.
Yeah. I don't understand. Obviously it's going to gain more traction because it seemed that was what was gaining more traction. This man, even Mac G,
But
his
also,
following went up.
It was
even after
violent because you're exposing Malusi to more homophobia. Because
it's gone on an international scale now.
anyone was reporting him at work, it was not because it was, how dare you be gay, successful, and like brave or confident enough to share
say,
this
"Fuck
thought.
this bigot,
Literally.
fuck," and he's not
Literally.
wrong.
He's
for
not
saying-
wrong at all.
And I don't know why we expect such a moralistic thing from victims of violence. I mean, maybe it does dial back to the way we've been conditioned as South Africans. But like, I struggle to articulate myself when it comes to this thing. But there's just this strange sense of just morals that we've placed on ourselves and not
That we
just
can't
on-
uphold.
Yeah, as black people in
Can't
general,
uphold.
as all of us as black people, we've held. I mean, remember the time when that corrupt dude was being arrested or his things were being seized, and someone
And
was
people
like,
like,
don't
you have,
wish bad.
it's so and so sodi. You wish bad. I remember like his girlfriend was literally on social media posting as if people are out to get her, and it's like, you've been chowing money for toilets, for asbestos. People are dying of fucking
People are
lung cancer.
dying.
Children are being burnt by shit so that you can snap in a Rolls Royce on
Mate.
Instagram, and you want to tell us we have dark hearts. Like, I think people believe that when you express your negative feelings towards some justified negative feelings,
Yeah.
you are being evil, as
Yeah.
opposed to them doing evil things to people. Like, that's a very weird
When you
thing.
do evil, also, guys, let's be okay with this. When you do evil things to people, the people who you're doing evil things to will think evil things, and they might just do evil things back.
Also,
I don't think this is rocket science. Hey, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's not rocket science. It's not something that your head should be. Now you're talking about dark hearts. What are you, cardiologist? Really?
Topic 2. Rehash number 2. Okay, I think, seeing as this is a month of love, I think one of the most disappointing things that love does to us is that we are disadvantaged by the fact that we are experiencing love in a very patriarchal world and society, right?
Yeah.
And we are cis heterosexual women
Yeah.
who have relations with cis heterosexual men. And we were having the chats about how, like, it's so terrible that no matter how much you love someone or
How much
you understand, like, your relationship with a person, as a woman, you must constantly be afraid that things could change at any given moment.
For the worst.
And I think the saddest thing that we have come to witness happening routinely, is that it is so easy for something that once felt so great to turn to your worst experience ever. And I think it's so sad. Like, for myself, I will always reference back to my own mother and how my mom had me at 16 and then she had my sister before she turned 20. So that's like a 3-year gap. Yeah, just before she turned 20. And when I was younger, there were certain things that I did not understand, but I could tell that my mom was very unhappy. She was depressed. There was something wrong. And I could tell that our fathers, it just felt like they weren't as affected in the same way that she was.
By your birth.
And I look at it now and I'm like, there are things that my father has managed to do that if he were my mom, because they were both 16 at the time, she would have never been able to. And it's nothing about
She'd never
his
lived that
spirit. It's nothing about the type of person that he is. It's purely because he's a man.
Yeah.
And I look back and I look at how they had me, but all of a sudden she was suddenly betrayed by him. And there were so many players who could take part in that betrayal. And it's like young black women, especially, who do not have the resources or the support structures in place to help them through that, will never be able to come into be who they fully could have been.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a really messed up thing and a heartbreaking thing, because it makes me so upset when I see people defending men who have treated women badly.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact that that seeing somebody be defended when they've treated you badly makes you feel
Man,
like you are nothing.
man. Yo, there's nothing worse.
And
There's nothing worse.
it sucks so much that for so many people, that is how love
Yeah.
ends.
And yeah, yeah, it's such a heavy thing that that set society up or have set this world up in such a way that we really have you are, no matter how long you've been with this person, no matter what you've shared, you are expecting
Something.
a very deep
I don't even
betrayal.
think it's like expecting. It's like
it's like
I don't know what word
it's
to
like
use,
that
but
monkey,
it's
I don't know,
looming.
you know that monkey, you know that chicken
Yeah.
looking monkey, but it's like it's tiny. Well, in some instances it grows when you see certain things and you're like, it's coming.
Red
But
flag, red
it's
flag.
looming. You know what I mean? And even then, constantly red flag this, red flag, because men are conditioned to get away with these things. At no point can a man. It's very. It's rare. I want to. It's rare. It's rare. Yeah, rare instances where I have seen men reflect honestly about this, about what they have been allowed to get away with, and also even try to change it.
Very few people do that.
Very-
I think in general, very few
general.
people actually look at the things that have been serving them
Yeah.
and say, oh, so this has felt great all this time
Yeah.
because so and so and so and so and so and so are being compromised.
Yeah.
I think it's very difficult for us to actually look at certain, like the way certain things have happened in our lives and be like, so at what, like at what cost?
Yeah.
You know, we seldomly do that and be like, oh, so in order for me to have A, B, C, and D, this person had to go through this and this. We hardly ever do that. We're just
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm so grateful that I had this. I'm so great. You know,
Yeah.
we move like that. And I think very few men actually sit and undo all of the teachings that say in order for you to be happy, you must be deceptive.
Yeah.
You must be manipulative. You must put yourself
Must always
first,
have the
no
upper
matter what the
hand. Yeah,
yes.
no matter what, yeah.
And it is in that we're always going to be screwed over because we say this so many times. There is no fucking game. Like for us, there's
In
no
playing the
game.
game, my sister, I'm a savage. Don't do that. My friend, don't do that.
And I feel like
win.
I know with my own little sister, I've been like trying to drum this in, and I'm
Yeah.
hoping that she
All the
gets it
time,
now. But there is no game. There is no game.
And that's why my heart breaks so much for. So one, all of this obviously boils down to the chat about sort of divesting from, centering men and centering romantic
that
relationships.
chat.
That chat is flawed in and of itself, but we'll get into that. But my heart breaks so much when I see women whose world revolves around men, right? And I'm not here to say that you must be aloof. I don't think that's not a human thing that we must expect from people, to be aloof when they're in relationships or to be constantly hypervigilant. Unfortunately, we're taught that, right? We have to be hypervigilant. I don't want to necessarily say that, that's what you must be or mustn't be, but it's so heartbreaking because when the heartbreak does come, it rocks. I mean, heartbreak rocks nonetheless, right? But there's just a certain level of betrayal that you experience when you have centered
And
this
when you have
thing
ignored everything
and
else.
you have ignored everything
Because you're like,
else.
oh, fuck.
I have been so wrong.
But that's what
And-
men do,
Yeah.
right? Because they create this rift, or they feed into this rift where they position other people as jealous, they
Yeah.
position other people as bitter, so that they are manipulating you into being complicit in like furthering their misogyny
Yeah.
towards certain women, right?
Yeah.
That they do that really well. And I actually don't think that that's confined. I know men do it way more because they have more opportunity
And they can get away with it.
and they get away with it more. But I think it's something that you actually find in a lot of relationships. Like
Yeah.
there is something about romantic relationships that makes people believe that they cannot exist in them without having an upper hand.
Yeah.
And they will do whatever
There must always
to
be an
have
upper
that
hand,
upper
yeah.
hand. And if that
it
means
can never be like, okay,
oh,
we get each other.
we get each other, and
yeah.
when we
There's
don't,
no
we're
wrong
able
person
to.
or right, but like I don't like to do that where, let's say something happens, maybe it's as a reaction to something, and I come to you and I say, I don't like it when you responded like this to my bullshit. I'm not saying that you are a bad person. Let's not be invested in doing that. In framing a bad person, or this is a good person, or this is whatever. Your reaction is your action, I guess, but when you're coming to someone to express that maybe something that you like, something that they did wasn't great, it shouldn't be, I think. I guess these things have conditions. I don't know.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah, it depends. But there's some instances where, you're coming to someone and it's not necessarily that I'm painting you as a bad guy. Because that's sometimes what happens. Sometimes that is the reaction of people where it's like, oh, you're making me out to be a bad guy.
You know,
why do you feel that?
That's actually interesting because I've had a situation where I was like, that's why I'm like, it's so circumstantial, because sometimes you're like, actually, no, I'm being painted as a bad guy here.
Yeah.
And you see it way before and you're like, you know what, okay.
And then, this person is setting me up, exactly.
And then you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, I see it, I'm telling you, you're not seeing it. And then as things unfold, you're like, what did I say? But I think that's the human condition, you know?
But yeah, like, just to go back to what you're saying, that it feels as though like there must always be someone winning at the expense of someone else in a relationship. And if we're being idealistic, that shouldn't be the case, right? Like,
but it's very
But we're in a doggy-dog world.
We're too comparative as humans. We're too comparative. But I think what we were going to segment this second point about love and how like all the things we've been witnessing this year. Yeah. It's just, for me, I am wishing better for young women. Yeah. I'm wishing, guys. I
can't imagine dealing with, already my world rocks me, right? This is outside of romantic things. Like, my world is hectic. Like, I'm being rocked on all fronts. Not always in a bad way, right? Like, it's great. I'm living a great life. Things are really amazing. I'm begging for help.
I'm getting my dreams.
But no, for real, like, things are going really well. But I'm being rocked by life. Like, life is rocking me right now. And then on top of that, I want to add on certain. Wow, I can't imagine. And I
think that's what makes it hurt so much more, right? Yeah. That like you have chosen to bring this person into your life, and you had a mutual agreement in the beginning, and at some point things changed without you knowing, and in such a terrible way. Like, I don't know, man, why do niggas like to take it to the top? When they hurt you, they make sure they'll hurt you. Okay. and I think that goes into the next topic, where it's like, people will claim to love you today, and then leave you a single mom tomorrow. Why are niggas our age deadbeats? You are literally 26.
You are 26.
You are what the fuck?
Why are you a deadbeat?
You still have a full hairline. What the fuck, dog?
If there's
you listen to hip hop, what's happening?
If there's a condition I don't understand, I can't wrap my head. I'm sorry, I can't wrap my head around deadbeatism. It's been happening for generations and generations.
I don't get how people our age,
and not in the sense that like I don't get why it's happening. I get why it's happening.
I fully understand.
It's just my big head. Just listen. I am
all the sociology, all the understanding, all the everything. It doesn't land. It's not clicking because it is just a position. Man. Like I can't even find an English word. It's fucking clumsy. Like
it's messy. It's dirty.
It's dirty. It's a pigsty. There is a pigsty in your heart. Like,
guys, no. Like, I know we're laughing, but
I'm not laughing. Like, I'm laughing because what the
crying.
Guys, how are you?
It's worse for me when it's It's niggas who've experienced it, right? My mom was a single.
My mom, duh. No, but
I
think niggas.
I saw what my mom went.
I think
you
niggas
hate your
low-key
mom,
hate their
fucking
moms.
bitch. You
I think
literally
niggas
hate your mom.
moms. I think
you
niggas
literally hate your mom, dog.
Look, I'll roast me, say what you want. My mom's dead. I don't give a fuck what you can say. But niggas either there is something strange
hate your
about
mom,
men and their moms. It's the Oedipus
yeah.
complex.
Isn't there an Othello one as well or something like that?
What's Oedipus's sister?
I don't know.
I've forgotten the word, the other word with the girls and the dads.
Yeah.
And then there's Oedipus and his mom. There's something wrong with niggas. It's either they fucking hate their moms,
Yeah.
or they
Hate.
idolize their moms in a
Yeah.
very weird way.
In
Like
a
I've
strange
seen
way, yeah.
men be very okay with saying like, oh no, my mom, growing up, my mom always had her nails did, her hair did, so my girlfriend must, and it's like, bruh, like
Are
someone
you-
you're sexually attracted to, you want them to
You
mirror
want
your
the?
mom.
I saw something about like why don't women shave their legs? Does your mom shave her legs? Does your mom shave? Look at me right now. Does your mom shave her legs?
But guys, I don't get it. And I think the fact that men can, because the reality is, most of these guys who are, my mom struggle, my mom, my mom dog, my mom, the ones that are deadbeats, are so dependent on their moms.
Very.
And when I look at it, me, myself, like these are the things that occupy a caterer's mind.
Yeah.
I look at it sometimes and I'm like, I remember having this conversation with my gran, right? Where she was like, I think I've said this here before, but when you get helped too much in life, you get to a point of resenting the people that help you
Yes.
because they constantly remind you of
Of
how you're
little,
not self-sufficient, how
yeah.
little you can do for yourself. And I think a lot of men have that relationship with their moms. And if you look at these guys that are like deadbeats but bum ass niggas, like even the ones that are rich, it's their parents' money and they have very limited they have very limited financial freedom, because one of the things that is flippin' strange about having a lot of money and being dependent on your family even though they have a lot of money is that you are very controlled in how you actually can spend that money or the amount of access that you have to that money, as opposed to when you're working for your own money and you can just blow it at Sunday roast. Like, it's a very different thing. And I think the older you get within that structure where you're not becoming self-sufficient, you're not becoming independent, the more controlled you are, because your parents are now also projecting their disappointment and all of that.
Exactly.
And then you bring a kid as well. And then they feel like that woman is gold digging. They forget all of a sudden that you're a bum that has nothing.
Exactly.
And
What
then
are they
they'll
digging?
act like this girl is gold digging. Like Lebu M.
Yeah.
On the, I don't know if you
on
watched
that show,
it.
yeah.
On the show, like he's accusing his son's, the mother of his son's child of being a gold digger, wara, 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 wara. And it's like, your son,
He's a little bum. He's not doing anything.
he's a bit of a bumkey, like,
I mean, really.
you know? So and your son doesn't have money because you're not giving him money. So what is she gold digging? So there's like that dynamic, and it's very easy for those guys to hate their moms. And also it's very easy for them to not see their moms as women.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, we as women, I feel like us as girls, we are able to see our dads and be like, this nigga actually ain't shit.
This a man.
And still be like, I love my dad, but he's a man.
Yeah.
And it's very, I feel like some men, it's very difficult for them to
They
be
don't
like,
know how to experience multiple feelings about
Yeah.
their moms. And it's like, it's either their mom is this bitch, she's the worst fucking bitch in the world, or she's like
my mom is, everyone must mirror my mom.
the best.
But my thing is, looking at these deadbeat niggas, the ones that have money.
What's your excuse, dog? It's not money, so what is your excuse? I know we're simplifying the thing, but what's your excuse?
I think I often look at my uncle, and he's a present dad. I look at my uncle and I realize that it's actually not difficult to be there for kids, but it's very difficult to be a parent.
Yeah.
And I think men are running away from something that's not difficult, because right now people are asking for the bare minimum. They're saying just be there.
Just be there. Just be there. They want presence. It's not like you're busy all the time also. Sometimes you sit at home
But
and you
guys,
bum
you're
out.
so young. I'm still like stuck on
Yeah.
people our age. Because firstly, I
There
can't
was an
imagine having a
interaction-
kid.
There was an interaction I saw, oh my God, where someone was sort of demonizing deadbeats, and someone was like, "But what about your friend though?" And this guy was like,
Oh yes,
This guy
oh,
was
he
like,
didn't
oh,
know, and I was
"This
like,
nigga a dad?"
I feel like that's the thing though. Men
That's the thing
are
with men,
fucking
yeah.
secretive, like, and
Yeah.
it's so deceptive because
Why are you so secretive with one another?
I don't know. I feel like we've let go of a friend because they're deadbeats. I feel
and
like
I found out I had been hanging out with this person for a while, like every weekend for months, probably a year, if not less. And I found out by mistake. Someone mentioned it by mistake, and I said, "Huh? Wait a minute, what?" Like at no point did he speak about his child. No point. For me, like a day can't go by when I'm like not talking about my nephew. That ain't my fucking
Literally.
child. But like
Paulo every day. It's not my
Every
but
single
you know what I was
day.
gonna say? I was gonna say I think like it's very easy for men to just go on like be friends for years, not know like not have each other's mom's numbers, not have like it's very easy for them to just didn't think of it like. And I don't get that. Maybe I feel like maybe we
I'd
overshare.
be so scared, bro.
But
Like, if I
I
was
find
friends
it
with someone
scary
like
as
that,
well.
I'd be scared. Like, what are you hiding?
Because then it's like, what have you
Me too, I'd
deceived
be-
us about?
exactly, I'd be
Maybe
very
I'm selfish
suspicious.
also because I
guys.
often feel like that's why it's so easy for me to actually be like, you know what, fuck it when someone's doing dodgy shit to
Yeah.
someone else because I'm always like, what are they gonna do to me?
exactly.
And also, it's just wrong.
Yeah.
And what
Period.
have they done to me that I actually
Yeah.
have not been aware of? But I saw that interaction. I was like,
That was wild.
I'm not surprised.
That was wild.
I'm not, and even when men know, like the guy that we're saying he's a deadbeat
Yeah.
and we're not friends with him anymore, and that's why we say don't ask about us, don't ask us about we the net. Every time,
to SM Goa though.
every time we see his friends out that are still friends with him, they come to us and they talk to us about how they didn't know he's a, and I'm like, it's been 3 fucking years. Every time you see us, you want to tell us you don't know.
The same
you
story.
live with this guy. Every time you want to tell us you didn't know. You live with him. Does his kid come over? Does he talk about his kid? Does he post his kid?
Like
Like,
you say, I'm going to see my kid. Bye. No, he doesn't.
I feel like we let each other get away with so much, and I feel like we, and this is my fourth topic actually.
Yeah.
If you will allow me
No,
to
let's
move
go.
on from the
Let's go.
deadbeats. I don't understand how we can claim to love each other as friends if we continue to let each other do things that are so far removed from who we know
that
us to
person
be.
is, yeah.
Like I know Misho as this person, and this is my friend, and this is what I love about my friend. And the moment I see Misho depart
From
that,
yeah.
I should be able to
say,
have a
"Misho,
conversation with
let me,
Misho.
Let me bring you back. Yeah.
And I think things have developed for me to a place of, and I think I spoke about this a lot last year.
Yeah.
I've said I spoke about this a lot today. But I remember us speaking about how so much that we used to do when we were younger, we view as performative now.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I was like, fuck calling in, fuck.
Yeah.
And now, like, still fuck it, but there's certain parts of it where I'm like, who would I be doing this for?
Yeah.
First of all, and why would I be doing it?
Why would I be doing it? Yeah.
So I think this week on Twitter,
Oh, I saw.
something really messed up happened. And it's actually, it's sore. Like my heart was really
it's
sore,
very
but
sore.
found out that someone that's a mutual. And the thing is, the one thing that people don't realize about online communities is that some of them we formed when we were like 20. So you've basically known this person for close to 10 years. They've been a big part of your own personal development and how you've grown, and you have built a community with them.
Yeah.
Right? And then you find out that this person has been knowingly dating someone who has violated multiple women. And you have been, so by virtue of them dating someone that is a rapist, while knowing that the person is a rapist, they are sanitizing the rapist's image,
Yeah,
right?
unfortunately, yeah.
And then you have been a part of that sanitization as well, because when they posted about their boyfriends or what their boyfriend did for them or how they relate to their boyfriend, you learned something from it,
Yeah.
or you commented on it in
Like, oh
a
my God,
positive
what a-
way.
what a
And I think that's what fucked me up
Yeah.
the most this week because I was like,
how we can
this
sanitize someone's image without even
knowing.
Yeah.
Right? And this person, we were happy for them because they were in love.
Yeah.
And you can say that this online community, this online friendship
Yeah.
that had been built,
Yeah.
now people had expectations of this online community to call this person out.
Yeah.
And for me, it was very difficult because I just felt like, first of all, these comments or these requests were coming in a very snarky way, and they were coming as if we had all been in community with this
Party,
person
yeah.
because they are dating, regardless of them dating
Yeah,
a rapist. And it's like we didn't know.
Yeah.
But also outside of us not knowing, it's just very weird when you are going to be snarky and be like, yeah, people are choosing air fryer recipes
Yeah.
over calling out a rapist. And I'm like, what? Like, that was a very weird
was
part of
very
this half for me.
painful.
And I
That
think
was
it's
so
something that's
mad.
going to affect me for a long time.
Yeah.
But it also reminded me that we're very stagnant. We're not growing in terms of, we're not having enough conversations about accountability. We're not having enough conversations about responsibility. We're not having enough conversations about what violations can develop into, because now I'm like, obviously the person hasn't said anything as we record, but I feel like if this person truly knew, then we have all been violated as well, because we have been co-opted, like we have been a part of sanitizing
This person's
person's image without knowing. And I feel so violated.
Yeah.
A part of me is still hoping that this person didn't know.
Yeah.
But the way people are saying multiple women
Yeah.
contacted them and told them that their partner is a rapist.
Yeah. That's so mad.
It's so sore that like someone that is within a part of your community can be that violent.
Yeah.
Because then it was deliberate that they were hiding the face. It was deliberate that they were hiding the name. And that feels so, I feel so manipulated.
Yeah. And then actually, let me dial it back to what you're saying before about men and their friendships and being so secretive. We tend to do that as women, where straight women, where like a friend will be talking about, I'm going on a date with this person. They don't really share all the details. Next thing you know, oh, my boyfriend this. And you're like,
And it's a shady ass nigga.
and you're like, okay, but like, can I meet this nigga? Like, my friends and I have a rule now, like, where, you know, where it's like, okay, if you are seeing somebody and you think that it's going to get to a certain place,
People should know them at least.
let's meet up with this. It's not like one of those situations.
It's not an
where it's like,
interview.
What are you? No, we just want to see this person, get a vibe check.
Hey, because that is important. Because
hey, when you meet people and they're already deep inside the relationship and you're like, I don't like this person at all.
And Misho is so good at that.
And I've experienced that
Misho
multiple
is
times.
very good at. You've got a bullshit.
Where I met someone and I said,
And then shit.
and
yeah.
I was like, no. And to when where I'm feeling physical discomfort, where I'm just like, no. And then, unfortunately,
Shit hits the fan.
Shit hits the fan, and I'm like, shit. You know what I mean? I wish, as you know,
I wish we had the space to express that.
Yeah, I wish you had
Friend.
the space to express that, oh my God, friend, this is how I felt around your person, without them taking it as an attack on them or their relationship or whatever. But also beforehand, you know, when you're talking to these people, and I mean, look, relationships move the way they move, right? Maybe you can't.
But I also feel like we do need to be a little bit more
need to be.
deliberate
Yeah.
in how we form it. Yes, they should still have a natural flow and all that, but
sometimes you
we
need to
need
go,
to,
whoa.
yeah.
I
Especially
can
when
see where
we
this
know
is
we have
going.
an under.
Exactly. I can see where this is going. I need you to get acquainted with who my friends are, because you are going to be part of my community. That's just on period.
And we're gonna be building.
We're going to be building a community. It's not gonna be me and you against the world. No friends, no nothing. No, they must have a vibe check. You must have a vibe check of them as well. Everyone must get to know each other. Everyone must get to sort of there's a lot. It's a month of love. This is a very long episode. It's a month of love, and we're going to be
rehash.
discussing.
It's been a long ass year.
It's been a long ass
It's only
year.
the 31st.
And
Jesus.
it's only the 31st of January. But we're going to be talking about a lot of these romance-related situations. We're gonna have some guests
Because
here
I
and there
actually
as
feel
well.
like for the longest
Personally,
time,
I don't like having those chats in the timeline because I don't speak chirp. I speak bird.
New Year's resolution for you, stop fighting.
Stop fighting. I'm sorry, guys.
So I think we've been deliberately staying away from these conversations, but the more I see things, the more that I feel that our own perspectives on certain things need to be widened.
Yes.
And also I think that I'm just really, like, I don't know, I know I'm not old, but like sometimes I look
feel
at
so
things and I'm
fucking old,
like,
bro.
I'm really scared. I'm so scared for my sister. Like I think the last few months I've just realized how scared I am for my sister.
I completely understand why your gran.
Yeah.
I get it. I think I didn't get it before. Like, I get why our parents go through the most.
They
when
don't
we
want
tell
us to
them-
date.
When we tell them that, okay, no, I'm dating this person. I get it. Like, I don't think I used to. And I used to be like,
Same.
yeah, they're just being. But I think when your gran was talking, I was like, oh.
Because
That made me sort of sensitive to how my parents felt as well. And I was like, oh.
because
I'm
literally
I'm
always
feeling
on
that
the
now.
news.
Yeah.
Always on the news. There's some shit going on. And
Yeah.
it's the people around them all didn't pick it up.
Yeah. All the time.
All didn't like nice.
Or they were isolated to the point where they couldn't even pick it up.
So it's very scary. And
So yeah, we'll be talking about that bird dating shit. It's not bird shit.
no, I think
It's
actually,
every part of our everyday lives. It's just sometimes.
you know, Misho, I actually think it's so unfair how we constantly
I
feel
know.
like we are constantly forced to reduce certain things. Because
Yeah.
I even always say that, these chats are repetitive, but there's always a new learning.
There's always a new learning.
There's always
Something
a new
always
learning.
comes. And that's what I've been enjoying. I won't lie. That's why I never say, I'm tired
The
of this
bride
topic.
chats.
I actually don't. I don't say that.
I feel like
because it evolves every single time.
it evolves, but also I'm glad that like younger women are being exposed
Yeah.
to what is and what isn't acceptable.
Yeah.
Because in those moments, it's constantly being reiterated that no, that's not okay.
Yeah.
And it saves, if it saves one person from an abusive situation,
I'm happy.
good. Like everyone else, it's like I don't care. Annoy me all you want. Like annoyance versus the trauma
Yeah.
of being abused is nothing. Like sometimes we need
If
to
we must
park
talk about
our
these
little
things,
feelings.
Yeah, we must park our little feelings and annoyances about certain things because at the end of the day, they're right. Someone is gonna come
One
out. And
person's gonna be like,
every
man.
single time some chats have been had. Someone has been like, oh my god.
Oh, and I feel like that's
This is
happened
what
with us
happened
as
to
well.
me. Yeah,
when we
we've
were
had
younger,
that,
like,
yeah.
this was wrong.
And
then you're like, oh, okay.
Every single time I've realized that I was in a situation that I shouldn't have been in, or that I could have not avoided, but I didn't need to be in. It was when
Someone
these
else
chats were
speaks about
happening,
it.
and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, and so yeah, you're right. I think these are things we must talk about. Our viewership is always growing. There's a lot of young women who listen to us. So hey, we're gonna talk about this stuff. We're gonna have some people over.
We're gonna try get guests.
Yeah, look, we're in a
the
panoramic, guys? We're in a panoramic, so we have to be safe. And we're gonna try and engage also outside of this. Just talk about these things elsewhere. And
I want to try Clubhouse, but
Yeah, but
I'm
it's
so
it's
technologically.
Also, it's Apple only. At the
Oh,
moment.
really?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
only,
that's
it's only
so-
for Apple. So that kind of sucks as well. Also, I have Clubhouse, but I'm like struggling with it because
I haven't even played around.
I've been in one room and it was actually quite nice. It was one of Sim's rooms, but even then, like just like the other stuff that like I'm not enjoying it. But I mean, maybe we'll see.
We'll
But
see.
yeah, I mean, we have IG.
Yeah, we need to do the
Twitter.
IG lives again. That was
Yeah,
fun.
Shane, people asked for it, and I think we need to do that because every time we've had them, they've been a ton of fun. But yeah, guys, welcome to 2021. 2020.
This is just a recap of the month that
Yeah.
we've had, and it's
just an
been
introduction.
Flippin' wild.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to having another episode in February, hopefully, talking about love, but dissecting it from a non-traditional perspective,
Yeah.
so that we can all grow. And yeah, we're looking for I'm looking forward to the year, even though I'm not as hopeful as I could be.
Yeah.
But
I think it's gonna be a good year. Even though I know we're still gonna have to be dealing with grief. We're still gonna be fucking tired. We're still gonna be this and that. I'm trying to just keep as hopeful as possible.
I'm holding on to the excitement of learning together and
Yes.
going further
Yeah.
within ourselves
Yeah.
and learning to express ourselves a bit more. And I'm extremely grateful for this community that we've built,
Yes.
that we're growing with. Like,
guys are
I'm
dope.
really
You guys are
grateful
really awesome.
for everyone that listens.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. Please continue to listen.
Like,
Oh!
comment, subscribe. But
It's our birthday.
Yes,
it's
it's our
gonna be our
birthday.
birthday
It's
at
our
the
birthday month.
end of the month, and
Yeah.
we have a little surprise for you guys.
Yeah.
We'll let you know about it in the next episode.
yeah, the next
So-
couple of episodes, we're going to be doing some really cool giveaways and stuff like that. But you must watch. You
And
must
listen
comment.
and all
you
of
must
that.
subscribe. You know, that whole shebang. But like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe in Arcadium as well. No matter what. You know what I mean? Period.
Sure.